Bye 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 bye.
Bye.
Hello, Jody Rainsford. Hello,
Hello.
DoBadders. Welcome to Bad Boy Running. How you doing?
Hello. I'm all right, thank you. How are you?
Oh my days! I've just got
Big
so
time
many.
coming
Ooh,
up. Ooh.
Yes, yeah. Wedding on at the weekend, which is too soon. Not in terms of for my love, for too soon in terms of for our logistical.
David, isn't that horse bolted?
That horse has indeed bolted. You call my wife a horse? Ouch! Ouch! Yes, we currently have a shipment of items we need for the wedding, literally in Belarusia, which seems
Oh
like
no!
the best
An ally.
place. Yeah, yeah. I just had an update from my shipper to say that, and yeah, it's a shame because it's things that are it's the wedding favours. I won't say what they are, but we've got some quite specific wedding favours that we've had designed for the wedding. So not having them there at the wedding is somewhat problematic when you have friends from around the world visiting. So it could be costly postage-wise afterwards, or we're just going to be sat with 300 because there was no point buying 150 because it costs the same price. So 300 of the thing that becomes null and void after the wedding, which is always
Amazing.
good. Always good.
I don't know. I'm sure the Hellard entrepreneurial kick will manage to resell it in some clever way, or members of the Bad Boy Running Club are going to suddenly find themselves with the legendary treat. weirdly useless and related to Hellard's wedding, but.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wait a minute.
Absolutely.
If it's in Belarusia, doesn't that mean it's sanctioned? I thought that anything from Belarusia was sanctioned now, and you weren't allowed to ship it. And there's all. Are we all of a sudden anyone that turns up at the Hellard wedding is going to find themselves on some kind of Russian blacklist?
That is quite a good excuse then for, well, this is what I've been sent. I don't know if you can see that, Jody, if I position that right. Let's have a look.
I can kind of see it, yeah.
Here we go.
Oh,
yeah,
I see. So it's in Minsk.
You can see where it started. It started in eastern China, and then for some reason it did a weird thing.
It took a hell of a detour. Yeah. Did it take a detour to Tehran or something? Yeah.
It looks like it, especially as I'm pretty sure this was going by sea. So
I know. Why is it going overland? I've never seen something go overland. Like what? Are we 14th century traders now going along the Silk Road?
Camels on the Silk Road. Yeah, indeed. It's been traded for it started off as being traded for a paperclip, and it's worth huge amounts now in Minsk. It's now worth
the stamps are going to be incredible on that. You're gonna get like a customs form like that thick with everything everywhere it's been.
Yeah. Well, I've we had loads of plans. Some of them have come through, but some of them haven't. But what I hadn't realised, so I bought quite a lot of BrewDog, and BrewDog itself, when they normally do things right. So I went on the website and I ordered a multi-box, and actually used Bruno's login because he's got a bigger discount than me. So thanks, Bruno. There's something called the Headliners, and they send you 48 cans, mixed cans of what they think are their headliners. So Punk, Elvis Juice, Hazy Jane, Dead Pony, Clockwork Orange, Planet Pale. So I thought, great, I'll get three of those. Oh no, maybe I've got 6 of those. 6 of those, and then some of the others. It turns out within that 48 cans, I didn't really break it down because they don't break down in great detail on the page what's in each one. It's just kind of mixed. And then if you put in the ingredients, it tells you the ingredients. You click the brew sheet, it tells you the brew sheet. So it turns out the vast majority of those are Clockwork Orange for some reason. So you get 2 cans of punk in your 48 cans.
What?
Yeah.
So basically, it's just like whatever we've got left, kind of. Whatever there's an overstock of.
I emailed them. I emailed them from a kind of shirty email from Bruno's account saying, like, guys, come on, this is ridiculous. You've given me something like in every one of the 48 cans, you've given me like 16 cans of Clockwork Orange. Like, come on, man. Who drinks that much Clockwork Orange? Like, literally, what the hell are you playing at? This is clearly bullshit. And yeah, so I hope you're happy to drink a lot of Clockwork Orange this weekend, because someone's got to. Oh no,
I'm very happy with Clockwork Orange. I'm very happy with Clockwork Orange.
You're gonna have a great weekend.
I mean, I don't know 16 cans of Clockwork Orange. I don't know how I'm going to be feeling at the end of that.
It's 16 cans per batch. So no, that's just like that's wave 1.
Isn't it one batch per guest? One batch per guest, isn't it? Is that
that's true.
Is that not how it works?
We've only got 6 guests. True. There have been dropouts. Well, weirdly, Ali was saying that the Run Britannia is actually staying within miles of the wedding on the wedding evening, but they'd be passing through if they were to go at the time of the speeches, which I don't think it would go down well with Briggsy. So, but how are things with you? What's been happening?
All right. What's been happening? Nothing really. My life seems to be dominated by horses at the moment, and
no running?
Not being able to do stuff by horse. Oh yeah, I'm running. Oh, running is fine. Like, just a little bit of running. I said to myself I'm going to go to the gym more, but I just don't seem to find the time for it. I keep paying for the bloody gym.
You've got to swallow the frog for breakfast.
It is.
Isn't that the phrase?
It makes a big difference, because I haven't been going into Brighton for work as much, and I've been doing more stuff at home. It's just like finding ways of getting out the house. Like, it's so easy to get stuck at home. And especially when the children are off as well. Like, at least if I can say, I'll take Frida to school, and then I can go to the gym, and I can go to Brighton, and
just take her to school anyway. Just
drop her at school. It's absolutely fine. Yeah, like, it's
They've
not
got
on
playgrounds.
No.
Can you run alongside the pony?
You're not really supposed to. Oh, Frida had you know when I said at the start, that horse has bolted. Frida had a competition on Monday that we went along to, and you go to these things, and there's just a load of horses, as you'd expect there to be. But one thing I've never seen before when you go to these things is like a horse had got free and was just fucking bolting around the place. And it's like you know, like when you have a dog that kind of goes mad and starts running around. Just imagine that though with a much bigger dog, and how much more dangerous that is. And then, you know, with a dog you can normally kind of calm it down and stuff, but with a pony it's like fucking bolting it round at a ridiculous speed, and all you can do in that situation is just go, shut the gate. Like, the only thing you do, no one can stop it. But eventually
doesn't everyone have to whisper? Everyone's like, shh, Aussie. Because that's the only thing you can do, isn't it?
The only thing you can do is just wait. Because all of a sudden the horse is bolting around at ridiculous speed, and then suddenly it just grinds to a halt and just starts eating grass, and that's it. It just eventually it will stop and eat grass. You're just like, imagine that. So yeah,
I would actually like to see that. Yeah,
it was fun. It was great. Like to see this completely unhinged pony, like tearing it through in between all these horse boxes and horse trailers, and like, you know, sort of people genteelly, you know, sort of standing around having tea and cake and stuff like that, and this fucking mental horse like tearing it through the middle of them all, and everyone just being really calm and relaxed and just, oh yes, that's what fucking horses do, it seems. But yeah, so that's good. But it actually, this is a good seg, because it reminds me of something. So Frida had to do a as part of the pony club, as well as indoctrinating them into thinking that hunting is a good thing. They have to do a bunch of different...
How do they do that? Do they smear them in blood, or...?
Well, it's just the whole thing is set up to do all this fucking blood sport bullshit.
Yeah.
So they do all these different things, and they do all these different exercises. And one of the things they have to do is learn traffic, how to cope with your horse around traffic, which is a perfect thing. And in order to do this, the Pony Club has basically created a DVD of this.
They call that
video? It's not that. No, it's not quite. And they've got this DVD, it's educational DVD about how to deal with when cars come up beside other things, and they've hired a presenter to do it, and you will never guess who the presenter is for this pony traffic.
Pato Banton?
It is
Mike Bushell.
It is Mike Bushell. They have got the man himself, Mike Bushell. My daughter,
is he filming
she
it
was
like
so
a cameo?
delighted. It wasn't quite like a cameo, but it was quintessential Bushell. There's some education, but a little bit of joking around type thing as well. And then a certain element of awkwardness.
Recognise him?
Yeah, she was so desperate to come and tell me and show me. She goes, "Oh, look, it's that man you keep joking about."
Oh, what
and it was just like the way,
love it.
I mean, the way you crop it. I mean, like cropping up on like corporate videos and stuff like that is is kind of a low for some people, but cropping up on a fucking Pony Club traffic management DVD,
oh mate, that's a high.
Is something else. They're like, we're gonna spend the big bucks. We're gonna get Mike in for this one. He's got rapport with the kids. He'll know how to teach them about this serious subject. So I thought it was quite a good. It was quite a good.
Do we know?
Can Mike ride? I don't think so. He was driving the car.
So there's no footage of him on a horse.
I've not watched the whole thing. I can't confirm whether that's. Let me just go and check with Frida just for a second, because I think this is actually quite important. Just bear with me a second. Frida.
Brilliant.
You know the traffic.
Well, DoBadder, I'll keep you updated while Jody's away. I actually missed my flight back from Zagama because I had a bit of a running with the airline, Fueling Airline. Terrible. They'd cancelled my morning flight. Then I paid for baggage, but I hadn't checked it in. Oh, here we go.
I can confirm that Mike Bushell did not ride a horse. He was not. He was not at any moment. He was only in a car.
For that.
They didn't pay enough for that. I mean, the thing is, if he was doing that for BBC Breakfast, he'd have been on a horse and falling off a horse as well. So because that's the kind of shape that Mike. Exactly. So, but I think that leads nicely on to probably one of the best things that I've seen put in the Facebook group in quite a long while, which was Mike Fenwick is one of the new members of the BBRC committee, the running club committee, and he is somewhere in Yorkshire, up north, somewhere like that. And so we've got different people who are running events, and he has taken this to a new level. So Andy, who is basically our video producer, has done an event recently in Edale, in the Peak District, which was very well attended. You can go on the BBRC group and have a look and I think there's also some pictures in the BBR group on Facebook. Really good event. And so Mike's putting one on as well, which I think annoyingly is the same weekend as the Beerathon, which is a bit annoying. Yeah. But he's been putting together some preview videos, which have they've ticked all this. These are kind of like, when LSE did the video for the For Goodness Shakes competition, and the amount of effort that he put into that was like great. Mix, but like just a huge amount of effort into these things. Involved his children on bikes, running around different parts of the route that they're going on. Mike Bushell's in there, things. But he's created another video, and he's gone to a new level. And we talked about how you can hire people on Cameo. He actually got Mike Bushell to try and encourage me to come to the event. And if you've not seen the video, it's worth watching because Mike is classic Mike in that video, isn't he? It is so it's both great and so awkward. He just doesn't stop. He doesn't. You know when like someone's saying something and they should just stop talking after a while, but they just keep going on and on and on, and then they kind of start rambling about any old thing because he feels like he needs to give value for what he's doing, but it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant.
Do you think Mike understands kind of what the podcast is, who the group are, what the event is? Do you think he's made the link, or
no, not at all. No.
Well, Mike, we love you. We want you to be on every safety video and corporate video. DoBadders, if you have a video you need to be done for your company, or even if you don't have a video that you need to have made for your company, just get one made and get Mike in it. Come up with some spurious reason for like photocopying safety
chemical
standards
spills, nuclear meltdown.
Yeah, indeed.
Imagine you had to come up, because the thing is, we are literally, inches away from nuclear Third World War, nuclear war. It's about time we had kind of one of those 1950s style duck and cover type videos.
Yes.
And I couldn't think of anyone better. Oh, well, apart from us, but anyone better than us, Mike Bushell would be the perfect one. The mix of needing some education, but keeping it light and probably a little bit funny as well. Light.
Going out with a bang, as such. Now, I have a question for you, because this will go out, I think, after the wedding. So, I'll have to be careful because Briggsy's in the house. She's taken the day off work, annoyingly, and this is the last day in the house. So I had this plan that I was going to sing our first dance. Of course I was. It was.
Oh, you don't understand how awkward that is for everyone apart from you.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's brilliant. But I don't think it will be awkward for most of my friends because they'll find it hilariously awkward. But the trouble is, it's because what I consider to be our song, the lyrics do not work for our relationship, because the lyrics are about.
Is it Smack My Bitch Up? Is that your song?
It is. It's more her song than mine. If you see from the bruising. But so it's Walk the Moon, Portugal. We love it. But the lyrics are about how throughout their whole life they never get together because they're always with someone else and they just never coincide. And how like she should still carry him with her even though they're not together. So I rewrote the lyrics. It's called instead of called Portugal, it's called Barnstable, which is the area next to where we get married. And about a year ago, when I was using one of the 17 different versions of crappy headphones that I have, I gave a go at recording the song, but didn't really finish it off very well. And unfortunately, after I'd done that, my the bed track that I'd stripped and everything else and the editing software got corrupted when my laptop crashed. So I only have I have that version of the song left where I haven't changed all the lyrics and I haven't really I've sung it in a lower tone than the actual song because it's easier to do that. Is let's just see if this works. So I have that version and nothing else. And we are heading down today to Mama B's to pick up stuff to go to the wedding. And I'm not sure if Briggsy is going to leave the house today. And even if she does, I don't have the bedding track. I don't know if I have long enough to quickly sing in this room into the microphone just here. So the question is, given that
sing it live,
it's no. The question is, do I just fess up to the crowd and be like, look, I had this grand plan. This is awful, but hey ho, I don't give a shit. I'm doing it because you get the gist of it, and I love this song, she loves this song? Or do we just go with like a song that she kind of knows is one of our songs that we just dance to that?
No, you've got to go for the first one. Fess Up.
Okay, so I can blame Jody now. I can blame Jody.
Jody said this was a good idea.
Oh, but and also the you know when you
I've not heard it. I'm doing this without hearing it, so I don't know what I'm saying yes to. But it's your fucking wedding, so of course yes.
Okay, we're gonna call this bad boy episode. Will this ruin the wedding? Will this ruin?
I think we just say this will ruin the wedding.
And have you ever been on Spotify where you're looking for a song and you by accident click on the karaoke version and you realise it's been made in some kind of slave music factory and it's just the weirdest sounding synth.
What is a slave music factory? I kind of know what you mean, but I can't imagine how that works in reality. In Bangladesh or something, someone knocking to go. Wait, you need to. We've got 5,000 tunes in the charts that you need to knock off in the next hour, kind of thing.
No, not piano, not real piano. No, this needs to be Cynthia. No, more distorted. Cut the guitar. It's got to have more synth.
It is rock, but this has got to have a more calypso vibe to it. So yeah, AC/DC was a bit more calypso. So do that.
Yeah, can we change it to 3/4 beat instead of like 4/4? Is that so? The bedding track is very much like that. So I think that's the only thing that could save me is that it's so awfully done. People might think that I've intentionally made it this bad.
I can't wait now. I thought this was going to be awkward and painful, but actually, I'm going to look forward to this. Do you know, I might not even be so drunk I'm blind at this point. It's a good milestone for me to get to.
And actually, the other thing that it saved you from, I had edited together an episode of David Attenborough where the first TV episode about dynasties, I think it's called Dynasties.
Oh yeah.
Is all about an old alpha chimpanzee called David. And so I'd gone through.
Please include that. Oh, please include that as well.
I lost it when my laptop crashed. Yeah, and it was all about the tale of David, where he gets challenged by a young upstart male. He loses his women.
Called Danny Ben.
Yes, and so I re-edited it to have this 2-minute scene that we were going to have where I kind of win back Briggsy. And we were going to have everyone.
Wait! Like you were going to act it out alongside this backing track. Oh my god, that would have been horrific. Well, can you not? Come on, someone. We've got 48 hours to recover this from the laptop. Surely someone can help with this. Oh my god. And are you sure that this can't be done? This would.
It had some lovely moments in it where. One of the female primates was clearly it was implying she was basically a massive whore and just putting it out to everyone. So it's gonna be I'd planned at that moment I'd be going up to one of the bridesmaids and standing next to her and being so there were it was really well thought through so that it would be really funny to anyone watching. But I just don't know. I don't know how I can edit it quickly enough to Andy, he's a ninja, isn't he?
He is a ninja. He'll be able to rip it. Yeah, he will.
Oh my god. Oh, well, maybe.
This is it.
Let's see. So what we basically
Andy,
we know
you wanted your bank holiday, but we've got something far more important.
Andy, don't worry if you can't, because no one's expecting it. And no one's wanting it.
I'm expecting it. I'm expecting it. I know. If I, you know when like something goes off, like the Olympics goes off and it's brilliant. And everyone goes, oh, it's brilliant. And then Boris Johnson said after it, he goes, you don't know about all the things that went wrong, all the things that didn't get put in. You know, he went like, he goes visibly white when he looks at it, but no one can tell. If you know that something's not been included, which is as brilliant as that, my entire enjoyment of the event will plummet. I can't.
Ooh,
there's got to be a way. There's got to be a way of including that. Because
I'll message Andy and see if it's possible. I think it's quite easy from the gist of it. The great thing is it's seamless because it is David Attenborough talking about this great ape David. Anyway, I've got a few things.
It's nothing like putting the focus on the bride on the on the wedding day. I remember one of my friends got married, and this best man stood up to do a speech about the groom. And then when the groom stood up, he was, you know what a groom's supposed to do? He's supposed to like thank everyone and stuff like that. The groom stood up and then started like laying into the best man as though it was the best man's wedding. And so the whole thing was just basically this kind of banter between the groom and the best man. And like the bride got left out of it. It was weird. Wow. It was really weird. It was great, but I wouldn't know what I'd have thought if I was the family of the bride.
Haven't had time to do my speech yet either. So if there's anything nice you'd like me to say about Briggsy, let me know now, because I'm short on content. I've got a few things. I've got a few tips.
You're allowed to. The thing is, you don't have to be funny when it comes to talk about the bride and things like that. You can just be sincere, can't you? Just be sincere, and it's really easy to kind of get a little bit just say all the right. It's really easy to say all the right things. It's saying the wrong things that requires some special attention. I
mean, you don't doubt my ability, though, do you?
I do not doubt your ability.
Well, firstly, so I've got two updates. One of them is linked to Brewdog. I've been back to Park Run last weekend, and so the update was
it wasn't cancelled for a lacrosse match or anything, was it?
It wasn't for a change. So first Park Run, I think I did sub 20, just as a let's see what happens. I think, was that right? Second sub run, so I think it's like 1940. Second Park Run, no, I did sub, I can't remember. I've completely lost. I did sub 20, I think was the big thing. So,
yeah.
First Park Run was maybe 20. Let's have a look in my emails. So quick update, and the reason we're saying this, because I thought it was useful, interesting for people at home, just to get a sense of how quickly you can pick up your fitness, given that I hadn't done any running for 2.5 years. So first one was 2020, 20 seconds 20 in March 26. Nice. Second Park Run I did was then the week after, and I think I scraped under 20 by a few seconds. And these have all been run without my 2041. Whoa, yeah. I think the week after that I did almost the same thing hungover. And then last weekend, back to Peckham Rye, 1853. So big jump, and
fuck you.
So that's, but it's the first run I've had where I felt like I didn't feel awful at the start of it, and just felt kind of light. But what this means, I've messaged Mr. Dog, because Mr. Brewdog and I had a bet that who was going to be sub 18 first. And I have said to Martin, like, he's not replied back yet. I'm going to chase him again. I've said, look, I'm now sub 19. Are we on? Loser has to do a marathon covered in peanut butter. Because I think we need to see that from someone, right? He's yet to message back. So,
where was he?
And actually, he was pretty good. He hadn't told me a park run time, but he was training for a marathon. and his parkrun PB, so his 5k PB was around kind of 18.5, 18.10. So but he's a sub 3 marathon runner. Like he can definitely get sub 18. He's gone quiet though, so I'm going to poke him again to see if we can resurrect
He's
this.
embarrassed about the Clockwork Orange situation. That's why.
It's why. Yes. That's. I mean, you probably the emails.
Maybe this is all part of it. Maybe he thinks the Clockwork Orange is. Maybe he thinks those boxes are for you to drink. And what they're doing, there must be some quality in that. There must be some banned substance in the Clockwork Orange. That knowing that you're going to have that in your system when you go under, and then he'll call a steward's inquiry. It's all part of the grand plan. He's thought long term. He's 12 moves ahead.
He is. So this bet is hopefully back on. Although I've not really been running or training my week away with Zagam and all that. But we need to talk about Trail Pursuit, don't we? Trail Pursuit.
Weirdly, the most misspelt name of a company that I've ever seen. How many people don't know how to spell pursuit? My God, that's all I could think about when I was seeing all the complaints. Let's talk about that. So you have some kind of additional knowledge to this, and it's been talked about all week in the BBR group and even in the private chat as well. And I've been joking about it. There's nothing to joke about related to it. But yeah, explain what happened.
Now, this is. I think you should explain what happened. But it's more. I don't know how openly I can speak about the things I know.
Okay.
Because I know one of the founders, and I've always thought they were a nice person. We've gone for a run before together in a group. And if I went to the run show or to anything else, I'd pass. We'd have a little chat like, how's things going? Oh yeah, what's that? So on that side, it's someone who I just thought was a nice person who likes running. On the other side is another friend from a different event who has been fairly direct with me, saying actually they may have, see, I'm careful with my wording here, may have completely ripped off our event and used photos from our event for the promotion of their event.
Ooh.
So,
yeah.
Okay. And it's weird because I like the person from Trail Pursuit in all of my interactions we've ever had, but the person from the other event is a genuine friend of mine who I trust, I love, doing great things, wonderful event, wonderful person, just a good all-round egg, a massive good egg, shall we say. So I don't really want to say too much specifics.
Well,
because
let's talk. Let's explain exactly what this is. So basically, what happened is within the group, Paul Album posted, if you want to know what would happen if Bad Boy Running organised a running weekend, Trail Pursuit in the Lakes this week is a fair shout. And there's been lots of negative review. But he said, lucky no one died. And then he had, I think a BBR weekend would actually be pretty well organised. And we can actually guarantee that BBR weekends are very, very well organised. So he was only kind of joking about that. If we're not involved, they go off brilliantly. So what I without going into too much detail, from what people were saying and what everything that else has come out is that they had a route in the lakes that people turned up to, and right at the last minute they changed the route. And the reason for that people were reporting was because lack of permissions. And so that is, that's a little bit of a red flag, lack of permissions. But lots of different things can happen around that. So again, it's very difficult to comment on that. The problem is that the alternative route that was given, and particularly this is the lakes, the alternative route that was given seemed to be far, far more technical, far more difficult for people that were trying this as either their first race or one without the thing. And so the alternative route meant that people were out for much, much longer. If you've never run, it was a kind of, I think the original route was a lower level route. The
what they did,
was a
they
higher
said you
level
could
route.
do the half marathon twice.
Yeah.
So they
one of the things
the
that I think that
said,
I think one of the things that people were complaining about is that it was very much sold as beginner friendly, and being told that you can do these things, and it's your first kind of experience of a mountain marathon, but in a really nice simple way. What it turned out to be that actually that people was there was just people were just being asked to do things which they were so far out of their comfort zone. If you've never done scrambling before and you have to do that on a race, that will come as a proper shock to you. Or if you're in areas exposed, or cut-offs are unrealistic. There's from what people were saying in the group, it seemed to be a real disaster, and so they've addressed that as to what it was. But there's a whole ton of reviews on RaceCheck that
they've kind of addressed it by deleting comments and deleting
the other
posts. And
the other thing is that they put out a statement around this and talk about the support and learning from it and everything. And then they use the excuse that, everyone thinks we're a big company, but actually we're a small company, and there's only 3 of us, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm so fucking fed up of people using that as an excuse. The size of your business that doesn't have any influence. If you can't run a safe event, or an event that doesn't there's misrepresentation as to what that event is like, that's got nothing to do with the size of your company. I'm so fed up of hearing that as an excuse, and we hear this all the time. Startups going, how many times has a startup done something and they go, we're just a startup, we move fast. If you move fast, it means you're fucking cutting corners, and if you're cutting corners in a race, that means that people's lives are potentially endangered. So it's such a bullshit excuse, and I'm so fucking fed up with it. And it's not an excuse. If you can't run an event safely that meets the expectations of the people attending it, then don't run an event. The size of your company has nothing to do with that. Don't run an event. You can't run it. It's as simple as that. And it's just with Parkrun, Parkrun is run voluntarily. They go, we rely on volunteers. We're a lean company. We do these kind of things, but they would never fucking compromise on safety. I mean, it's a totally different situation, but they'd never compromise on safety, and they'd never use an excuse with something went wrong with the fact that they had volunteers. So to use a kind of excuse of, go on.
But I wonder if they think. I think the issue is they didn't realise they compromised on safety.
I mean, that is even more frightening.
They didn't.
A really interesting thing. A really interesting thing is that I got a message from Andy Palmer recently, and he was talking about how so many of the this is a bigger situation actually. How so many of the races that are being run. The show up rates are really low. People, some are running at 30-40% capacity. When previously they'd have been filled. Just people aren't doing it. But there's a lot of races coming on where people aren't even bothering with permissions. And they're people are running races, and because they're kind of just setting these things up, and they're kind of new to the industry, or they see that there's gaps in the market, and they're not doing all the the permissions right. And again, this is hearsay, so you kind of make your own decisions on that. What?
Susan Shaw.
What do you mean?
Don't worry, it's a terrible joke to the band hearsay, and because she's now in the running industry.
For fuck's sake! I was thinking, what? Susan Shaw's got a fucking race. What? And now.
Not yet.
No. So there are, I mean, that's always been the case, especially in ultras. There's always been people who set up races, and they are very light on things like safety and things like that. And there's a big difference between knowing there's a danger and then being reckless about it, or just not even having the awareness that this can be a problem, and that those are both very, very dangerous in their own ways.
Do we,
especially the fucking Lake District. I mean, it's not as if this is running around a lake or on farmland, or I think this is the Lake District, like running up a hill. Even walking up a fell in the Lake District has its dangers if the weather turns, if anything else happens. Organising a race of that length up there, I mean, I don't know.
Should we try and interview them? Do you think should we try and interview them to actually understand it, or is that allowing someone to kind of justify an unjustifiable situation?
I always think by that time it's always they're in justification mode.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean,
they'll come up with reasons that they didn't have, that weren't true to.
Yeah,
kind of,
I mean, the apology
to match.
Exactly, their apology is very comprehensive. Some of the things they talk about, that they take full responsibility and they apologise. A mix of internal challenges that led to poor communications. Reviewing everything. They. I mean, it's done now.
Like, Child Pursuit's done.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no coming back. Yeah. There's no point in well, you can apologise, but there's no, like, you will not do any other events. It's over. It's like Fire Festival. It's been compared to, but to get for the listener at home to get a sense of the discrepancy between the expectations. So this was put as like a running festival for everyone. So the half marathon had one water stop. That was, I think, maybe at 10k was more of a 15k, and it had 5,400 feet of elevation. So that was over the course of 15 miles, and it was, so some people would take up 7 hours doing the half, and it's not far off the elevation of Zagama, where Zagama is known as a pretty hard mountain marathon, where Kilian Jornet takes 3 hours 45 to do it. We had Kenyan runners who are 2:08 marathon runners who were taking 4 hours 15. Actually, slower than that, like 4 hours 20 to run it. And this has a similar elevation over the half marathon. And they're then suggesting people should do that loop twice. But apparently there were also sheer drops on single track that were barely, you'd have to be a confident trail runner to go on it. So just, one of those situations. Like, sometimes you hear of things going wrong, it's quite funny, and it's quite entertaining, and it's annoying for the people in it, and they've lost their money, whereas this is just outright dangerous. And you'd imagine as well, if something had gone wrong, you can't imagine they've got massive support for safety. Yeah. If they've gone out knowing that this is the half. And it's, the thing is that the Lake District has so many amazing routes, and there are some incredible routes out there that you could organise. You could just run around the lakes itself and just go up one hill, and there's so many routes that are safe. There's so many paths that you can do.
It's the position. It's the permissions thing, isn't it? It's the permissions thing about, like, what happened to that, because I can't imagine that you'd have permission withdrawn like immediately. I mean, that was a weird thing to happen. Something, I mean, that maybe that is what happened. Maybe that that something came up. But normally, if something comes up like that, it's a safety issue. But
even so, having a half marathon that takes in that level of elevation is utterly insane.
But as a beginner, you won't know that. As a beginner, that's the thing. If you're a beginner trail race, those things just don't. You're not gonna necessarily know how much water to take with you. You're not gonna know anything like that. If you've done half marathons on the road and you're stepping up, you'll expect, water every couple of miles. You'll expect loads of support.
Yeah.
It's not like a gradual step up. It's a big fucking step up from a road marathon to
and even if you're
a road half marathon to a half marathon on a trail in the Lake District.
And actually, as you said earlier, the biggest worry is kit. That it seems like the weather wasn't horrific, but it's, as someone, if you've not been to the Lake District when it's bad, and you've gone there thinking it's summer, it's sunny down here, yeah, as you can say, you could have a situation like in China quite quickly, where
it changes so quickly.
Not able to see. Yeah.
It's the Lake District. It changes quickly. You can start up a fell. It'll be sunny by the time you get to the top. The weather's changed and there's like mist descended and it's just yeah. I don't know.
Well,
it's strange, isn't it, that there's a lot of races that are really struggling for people, and then there's races like these which they're getting lots of people along. You're doing the kind of the right thing to promote it and everything else. But really damaging the experience of people that potentially this is their first experience of a trail half. What's that gonna? It doesn't help for trust for everyone else.
Yeah, absolutely. And it does make you then wonder. Like, I guess the question now is, how do you assess whether a race is going to be well organised or not? That's the hard thing. And what I loved about I was talking to Briggsy about this, and what she pointed out about the organiser, who I won't mention, because who is great, is that they had set up their race, their festival, by taking friends and doing it and trialling it, then growing it to a manageable size and seeing what they needed and testing that and doing that and then growing it and then and it's those steps. And I guess it's whenever if you see, and I think this is a race that was organised from London as well, which to me is always a bit of a worry. I know the Lake District reasonably well. I wouldn't really want to put a race on there that I was organising unless I'd moved up there to really get a sense of it. Because I think you need the knowledge of the local community. And actually, as you say, things like, if you have volunteers, you need them in the Lake District to be local volunteers, because there's no use having a lovely volunteer from London who's just stood on the side of a Helvellyn with no idea what's coming in.
Yeah, exactly.
So tough one. And I guess it just comes down to, really, you've got to look at routes well and get a sense of, but I just don't know if you could have told, if you'd have been able to tell ahead of this easily that,
I don't know, it's like
they changed the route so last minute.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. It's a difficult thing to think. You think, well, they're a race company. They know the area. I trust them. I've already paid for this. I've already booked my accommodation. We're already, everything's in motion. It's very difficult with that kind of momentum going on. One thing I do hope, as a result of us talking about this, is that I hope we've got some of our facts right. Because if we don't, by the time this gets posted on YouTube, our YouTube troll Peter is going to be calling us out for getting a fact or two wrong. Have you seen Peter, YouTube troll, who seems to listen to entire episodes and then hate on us as to the lack of accuracy around some of the things that we talk about.
What are the big things we've got wrong?
I think there was a comment made about, we talk about Mo.
Am I not getting married this weekend?
But apparently you're not. You're not getting married this weekend. But a comment was made about Mo, and Peter's comment underneath the video was Mo won Chicago, you clown. I don't know who that was. Whether that was you or me. I can't remember saying anything about Mo and what he'd won or what he hadn't won.
We know Mo won Chicago in 2:08. I know that. So probably me, but I knew that.
But apparently one of us is a clown, I'm just trying to find the exact, because his most recent one in relation to what
I like the calling out there, the clown.
I like the clown.
He's also
should
won,
use the
I think,
comma
Dubai as well.
Should use a comma though. That's. Let's have a look. Here we go. There we. Oh yeah, the latest one in Jody and the Racist Comedian, episode 373. We talked about John Kelly, and I think you made a comment around how John Kelly broke the Wainwright's record by a couple of days. Pete has gone, John Kelly broke the Wainwright's record by 11 hours, not 2 days. You know, doing some research on the topics you're going to discuss won't actually kill you. I'm like, do you know what? It would. Really. It really would.
Well, no,
it would, Pete.
It wouldn't kill us, but I think the reality, the hard thing is that we just don't have time to research thoroughly for a twice a week podcast. And true, it means that we're not always factual. But I think actually, I think when we were talking about it, we put our hands up and said, and we're scrambling. And yeah, I used to have more time to do it, but literally now, when we're coming up with topics, we just don't have time to write notes on every single thing we're talking about in a way that we can then concisely read them. And so we can either pause and read articles while we're recording to then make sure that we're... But I'm happy with being semi-wrong, with the intent being there.
The thing is, okay, the thing I've always said is that we're trying as much as possible to replicate a conversation in a pub about running. How many people do their research before sitting in a pub talking about anything? It's the lack of research that makes that more interesting. I mean, again, if you're concerned about our research, go and listen to the barefoot episode we recorded very, very early on, where we knew nothing about barefoot running, yet we managed to string that into like a 45-minute episode in which we actually gave advice. It's actually still one of our most popular episodes, weirdly. But the other thing, Pete, is like, why are you fucking listening to us? Like, honestly, like, this is the second video that you comment on it. You've gone through the whole video. Watch it. Like, we are not the podcast you want to listen to. Really, if you're expecting research, accuracy...
Pete, we love Pete. Pete, you need to pick apart everything. We want dissection from now on. Dissection.
But I don't think Pete's really Pete. I don't think Pete's really Pete. I think Pete is a DoBadder who is trolling us. I'd put it down as Lorna, possibly, because Pete, when you look at his account, he's got no videos. He's on there, I think, solely to troll us. So he's either one of the DoBadders. He's either Martin Yelling, who is just a bit bored and is looking to kind of give us a bit of abuse under this name, or possibly someone else. It could be me or you.
Maybe it's Mo. Maybe it's Mo.
Maybe it's Mo. Exactly. So yeah, who is Pete? That's the question. Comment down below. Who do you think Pete is? I mean, if it's one of our enemies, that list is endless. That list is endless.
Do you know what I'm hoping?
It might even be the racist comedian. Having listened.
I'm hoping you've got his name wrong and he's going to correct you on that. That would be the ultimate. But but I'm going to run away now and try and organise the rest of my wedding day.
Wait, I know what you could do.
A song.
But you need to record. You can record the song, because what you do is you keep pretending that you're recording the podcast. That's what you need to do.
No,
keep pretending you're recording the podcast.
I'd need to actually sing very loud to be able to. Because if you imagine a song where someone's Tina Turnering, that is in essence what I'd have to do. So the neighbours will be aware I'm recording if I record. And Briggsy's ill at the moment as well, so she's not keen to leave the house at all.
Right. Yeah.
Although we've got to go and buy a lot of things for the wedding, so we need to do that now as well. Well, mate, I will. I'll see you this weekend.
All right, man. See you later. I can't wait for the awkwardness.
And do we have a poll? Do we have a poll for the bad boy runners? Well, should we ask them? Given trail pursuit, let's actually go for something that's good advice. We're going to ask in the group, like, how do you spot when like, how do you judge? How can you judge when an event is a good event and when it's likely to be a shitstorm?
Yeah,
because
good question.
They might actually come through with some good examples of things you can just check to make sure that you're not going to end up with a child pursuit situation.
Yeah, exactly.
And, so
good question.
Well, thanks for listening, guys. And if you want us to interview anyone, fallen behind with bookings, so actually we've got some more slots. We've had a few suggestions come in by email, so thank you, DoBadders, for those. I will be messaging you all back as post-wedding, as soon as I've actually got time to read emails. And please do rate and review. It really helps with our visibility and getting the guests. And if you want to get a sense of why things like Mike Bushell are such heroes, listen to the A to Z of DoBaddery. It's about 3 years old now, but it's all the lexicon, all the little stories of who G-Law is, why you need to punch him in the face, things along those lines. So go back and listen to that. It's very, very silly, very fun.
If you want to join the conversation, head over to the Facebook group, answer 3 questions, and you can give your opinion about trout pursuits and how to spot when a race is going south pretty quickly. If you want to buy merch, head to store.buyebyrunning.com and purchase a nice red vest or t-shirt.
And just one last request, Pete, can you up the analysis, particularly of Jody, because you've clearly hit a nerve. And I think it's brilliant.
I don't like him. I don't like him criticising you, David. I don't like him criticising you. That's it. I don't like anyone criticising you. Fuck you, Deborah Meaden.
If you can up this, Pete, to maybe following his Facebook posts as well, and just any grammatical errors, things like that. Will be exceptional. There's a mouse. There's somebody. Yeah.
There's a mouse. Oh, on that dramatic note, there's a mouse.
On that bombshell. That is exciting. Well, pleasure, DoBadder. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.
See you later, man.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.